everyone, it's me Ghost Girl again, and today I'm here with another video. Now before we get on with today's videos, I have a couple of announcements to make. Well, just one. So regarding my story time / creative writing competition, so I've decided that this is going to be the last Word on the Streets video, like part of that series, and then I'm going to write a story of my own, and I'm not sure how many, in fact yeah, I do know how many chapters I'm going to read. So basically I've decided that I've got this week and then 6 weeks after that to submit your entries, so that is 7 weeks to submit your stories. I wish all the competition entrants, people that choose to enter, good luck. I hope you enter good stories, and the more the better, because then it means I've got a better chance of picking the best story and who actually deserves to win. So you've got 7 weeks. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do the Word on the Street, this last Word on the Street video, and then I'm going to be doing it's either going to be one story over the course of 6 weeks, or I'm going to do wee mini stories, but there's definitely going to be a story that I've written over the course of the next 6 to 7 weeks. So you've got 7 weeks. Good luck guys, and it's time for me to start this video. So today's video is called My Grandad and the Skeletons. So this is a story that I'll be telling about my granddad, and it is the final Word on the Street video. So my granddad wanted to do research on the family tree, and one day it was a really stormy, wet, windy, rainy night, which is actually quite a frequent thing in Scotland. So he went to Stirling Castle, which is it's got a lot of records in that of people that were in the First and Second World War, and his dad fought in the Second World War, and he was wanting to get records on his granddad who fought in the First World War, because my granddad didn't know his granddad. He didn't know who his granddad is, so he wanted to find out who his granddad was. So he went to the Stirling Castle to find out the war records from the First World War, to see if he could find anything about his granddad. And he went to the castle, and they weren't very helpful. They were actually very rude to my granddad, and he was so angry that he stormed out of the castle. And when he came out of the castle, it was pissing down the rain. It was dark, it was cloudy, it was wet, it was windy, proper heavy rain, which is quite common in Scotland. But yeah, so that happened, and then he went into his car, and he was driving down the hill, and then he went down the kind of Ballingeek road where there's a cemetery, and it was he said it was like a waterfall, where all the water coming down the hill. And as he was driving down, the wall from the cemetery collapsed. And the way that cemetery was designed is, when you go into the cemetery, because I've been to it a few times, because I've got my granddad's great granddad is buried there, and when we were doing research on the family tree, we found out where he was buried, and he was buried in that graveyard. So I remember going in and seeing that grave once, so I know kind of what that graveyard looks like. So we were in, so it's because of the it was like kind of overflowing the graveyard, so they had, in order to fit the graves in, they had to build the graves like right up at the wall, so the bodies are like buried like right next to the wall. So you've got the wall and then you've got like the bodies so sorry, you've got the wall and then you've got like the bodies kind of right here. So imagine my head is like a skeleton head and my hand is like the wall. That is like basically how they did it, because the cemetery was like overflowing at the time and they didn't have like a backup at the time, so they just had to like make do. So then basically what happened is the wall collapsed and all the dirt and the earth came with it, along with all the skeletons, and my granddad was driving right under the wall and then the wall just collapsed on his car like that, all the earth and the dirt and the skeletons. Luckily my granddad was going down that fast because of the water and the rain that his car never got damaged by the brick, but it got covered in hundreds of earth and the skeletons. So then the skeletons were all over my granddad's car, hundreds of them. And because the water and all that, he couldn't go on the brakes, so he had to just keep going down and down this hill. And when he finally got to the bottom of the hill, luckily my granddad doesn't live that far away from the castle, so he was able to drive. It only takes about 5 minutes for him to drive like from his house to the castle, so he was able to drive home. But then, and luckily because the weather was that bad that no one was actually like seen him no one was like out wandering about, so no one was able to like see like all these skeletons from my granddad's car. It was like the phantom car out of a horror movie or something, because all the skeletons and the dirt and that on it. And my granddad had to phone the council and explain to them like what had happened, like all these skeletons and that. So then what the council had to do was they had to hire in like a forensics team to like who are like able to like remove bones and like deal with bones and that, and they had to call a forensic team and get the skeleton and like remove the skeletons from like the top of my granddad's car. And they found like skeletons and bones and like that, like hundreds of bones at the bottom of the hill, lying on the hill, like in the streets, Stirling and that. So they had to basically go on a treasure hunt for these bones and like get a forensic team to remove all these bones from my granddad's car. Luckily enough, the car was just very dirty and covered in bones, so he didn't need to replace the car. It would have been the council that would have had to replace the car anyway, because it's technically them that give him the benefit money for the car. But luckily the car was alright. It was just skeletons. And they had to get like brick layers because it was an old-fashioned like stone wall made of like rocks from like the mountains and that. So they had to actually get like, they couldn't just get like normal like brick layers, they had to get like actual stone masons or like stone people who are like qualified to use stone to actually like rebuild this wall, and they had to like seal it all with cement. And if you actually go to the Ballingeek Road where this happened, you'll actually see a bit where all the bricks are and it's like all cement and that, because like the wall collapsing. And then the forensics had to do like special testing and that to like find out like which bones belonged to which grave, and all the gravestones and that had to be like replaced because all the gravestones had been destroyed in that. And because the families for the people like are probably in the graveyard with the bodies that fell, it had to be the council had to fork out the money for it, because the people that graves collapsed are no longer with us. and that graveyard is actually considered a kind of historic site because the graves are that old, so it's government protected. So if anything happens to the graves or that, it's the council's responsibility to deal with it. So the council had to kind of fork out a lot of money that day. But anyway, that is the story of my granddad and skeletons. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed my Word on the Street series. My next series is going to be me telling stories, and I've decided to do that in order to help you guys find inspiration for my story time videos. 7 weeks, you've got 7 weeks to do it. So basically what you've to do is, if you have an entry, comment down below. Also send me a DM or a tweet on Twitter, and I'll contact you so that you'll be able to enter your story. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, comment down below, click on that notification bell so that you know when my next videos come out. Also like this video. Stay tuned for more videos next week, and goodbye.